Ochiba no Kata, as referred to in the Shogun TV show, is based on the real life of Yodo Dono, also known as Lady Chacha. Yodo Dono's life became intertwined with the fate of powerful warlords and the complex political landscape of the Japanese Sengoku period, where civil wars and social upheavals took place continuously. The changing fortunes regarding her family were constant, as Yodo Dono faced the relentless tides of war, betrayal, and ultimately a fate decided by the ambition of others. Nevertheless, she would begin to play the political game for her own goals and desires, and would be remembered to history as a beautiful but wicked woman. This is her tragic story. Yodo Dono was born in the year 1569. She was the eldest of 3 daughters, born to the powerful daimyo Azai Nagamasa. Her 2 younger sisters were Ohatsu and Oio, who would go on to have intriguing lives themselves, due to the instability and war in Japan at the time. Yodo Dono's mother was named Oichi, and was famous for her honourable conduct, beauty, and determination. She was also the younger sister of Oda Nobunaga, who was the most commanding daimyo in Japan at the time. This gave the Azai clan a sound position in feudal Japan, due to their family ties with the Oda clan. However, everything would soon change. When Yodo Dono was but a year old, her uncle Oda Nobunaga declared war on the Asakura family and besieged one of their castles. Yodo Dono's father Azai Nagamasa was conflicted, as the Asakura and Azai clans had been allies since the time of Nagamasa's grandfather, and this sudden war divided the clan. Many samurai wished to honour the old alliance with the Asakura, and not ruin generations of friendship. Nagamasa himself opted to stay neutral, but by doing so and not coming to Asakura's aid, he was basically siding with Nobunaga. However, in the end, Nagamasa chose to honour the generations-old alliance with the Asakura, breaking his ties with the Oda clan. The war would culminate in the siege of Odani Castle in the year 1573, when Yodo Dono would have been around 4 years old. Although the Asakura clan sent a relief force, Nobunaga quickly defeated them and killed the Asakura commander, Saito Tatsuoki. As for the leader of the Asakura clan, Yoshikage, he was betrayed by one of his men, surrounded by the enemy, and then committed seppuku. With the Asakura clan now destroyed, Yodo Dono's father Nagamasa stood alone. Oda Nobunaga soon overran Odani Castle. Nagamasa, with no chance of winning, committed seppuku. However, before his death, he entrusted his wife Oichi and their 3 daughters to Nobunaga. Nobunaga would embrace his sister and nieces. However, he soon learned that Oichi had an infant son, being Nagamasa's male heir. He convinced Oichi to tell him where the boy was, saying he wanted him to live and to raise him. However, Nobunaga had the boy executed to completely end the line of the Azai clan. Yodo Dono's uncle had just had her younger brother killed and was responsible for the destruction of her father's clan. She experienced the devastating effects of feudal Japan firsthand, which would no doubt mould her character. Yodo Dono's mother Oichi would remarry the Japanese samurai commander Shibata Katsue, a celebrated warrior. However, in the year 1582, the most powerful daimyo in Japan, Oda Nobunaga, was assassinated at the Honnoji incident by Akechi Mitsuhide, his most trusted general. Nobunaga's oldest son and heir Nobutada was also killed. The sudden and unexpected demise of Nobunaga plunged the Oda clan into disarray, sparking a tumultuous struggle for succession. His second and third eldest sons, Oda Nobukatsu and Oda Nobutaka, found themselves embroiled in a bitter dispute over their father's mantle. In the midst of this turmoil, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, a steadfast ally and general of the late Nobunaga, took decisive action by convening a council to address the crisis. To the surprise of many, the council determined that Nobutada's young son, Oda Hidenobu, aged only 3 years old, was the rightful heir. Having recently emerged victorious over Akechi Mitsuhide at the Battle of Yamazaki, avenging his fallen lord, Hideyoshi seized upon the succession crisis to assert his influence as a formidable military leader and political force, with ambitions to secure power until Hidenobu reached maturity. Hideyoshi maneuvered himself strategically within the clan's hierarchy. However, not all within the Oda ranks supported Hideyoshi's bid for control. Shibata Katsue, another trusted general of Nobunaga and Yodo Dono's new stepfather, aligned himself with Oda Nobutaka and Takigawa Kazumatsu, igniting a conflict against Hideyoshi's authority. In the year 1583, Katsue sent his nephew, Sakuma Morimasa, to lead an offensive force against Takayama Ukon, who was loyal to Hideyoshi. Morimasa, however, proceeded against Katsue's orders and ignored his direction to fall back. This led to his army's defeat by Hideyoshi, and Morimasa was captured and beheaded. His unsuccessful charge is what led to the Battle of Shizugatake. Hideyoshi's army would now push Sakuma's force back to Kinotosho Castle. However, the fortress was taken within 3 days. During the siege, Katsue earnestly implored his wife Oichi to flee with her daughters to safety. Despite his pleas, Oichi made the solemn choice to remain by his side, opting to meet their fate together, while ensuring the escape of their daughters. In a final act of resolve, Katsue ignited his castle in flames before performing the ritual of seppuku, embracing the honor of his decision to end his life with dignity. Oichi also refused to flee and died with her husband, both of them being consumed by flames. Before Oichi died, not knowing what would become of her 3 daughters, she entrusted them to Toyotomi Hideyoshi. Yodo Dono's father and mother had now perished due to the everlasting war in Japan. Yodo Dono would be taken into the court of Hideyoshi at around the age of 13 years old. She was regarded as the highest ranking princess of the remaining Azai family, being the eldest. She would grow up in the court of Hideyoshi, while he became extremely powerful and was unifying Japan, the same way his late lord, Oda Nobunaga, did. During this time, Yodo Dono would develop into a beautiful woman, bearing a striking resemblance to her fallen mother Oichi. She was extremely skilled in waka poetry and was interested in politics and administration. She is said to have treated her sisters and other relatives well, and was a good-natured woman. Soon enough, Hideyoshi would make Yodo Dono one of his concubines, as his wife Nene was said to be unable to conceive. In the year 1588, Yodo Dono fell pregnant. Hideyoshi, who did not yet have a son, was very happy, and Yodo Dono would give birth to a boy named Tsurumatsu, who was the couple's first son. As cause for celebration, Hideyoshi's younger brother, Toyotomi Hidenaga, remodeled Yodo Castle and gifted it to Yodo Dono. However, Tsurumatsu would die young, and so disheartened, Hideyoshi would give the position of imperial regent to his nephew, Toyotomi Hidesugu. Yodo Dono would soon give birth to another son, named Hideyori, who was born in the year 1593. Yodo Dono's position was secure. She was the highest ranking concubine of Hideyoshi, and Hideyoshi himself had continued Nobunaga's campaign to unite Japan, becoming its de facto ruler, and acquired the position of Chancellor of the realm. At this point, Hideyoshi was so powerful that he launched the Imjin War, otherwise known as the Japanese invasion of Korea. At the time, this was the largest seaborne invasion in history, with the Japanese committing over 300,000 men to the campaigns. The size and scale of the invasions would not be matched until the Normandy landings in the year 1944. This reflects the level of Hideyoshi's power, a period during which Yodo Dono enjoyed immense wealth, prestige, and influence as one of Japan's most influential women. Notably, as the mother of Hideyoshi's heir, she inherited many privileges. As Hideyoshi was busy handling the invasion of Korea, Hidetsugu acted in his place to handle domestic affairs in Japan. Soon enough, the relationship between Hidetsugu and Hideyoshi began to deteriorate. Rumors spread of Hidetsugu committing repeated and unjust murder. In the year 1595, Hidetsugu was accused of plotting a coup and was ordered to commit seppuku. Amid controversy, Hideyoshi issued a decree for the execution of Hidetsugu's entire family, including innocent children, wives, and mistresses. This extreme act of severity resulted in the tragic demise of 39 women and children, and it sent shockwaves through Japanese society, and also alienated many daimyo from Toyotomi rule. In a particularly tragic case, Hideyoshi refused to spare the life of Mogami Yoshiaki's 15-year-old daughter. She had recently journeyed to Kyoto with the intention of becoming Hidetsugu's concubine. She never even met Hidetsugu and was still put to the sword. Yodo Dono was now the mother to the heir of the Toyotomi clan, who she thought one day would rule Japan. Yodo Dono's residence would become the beautiful Fushimi Castle, and she would live a life of luxury and prestige, while under the protection of Hideyoshi. However, tragedy would soon strike when Hideyoshi fell ill and died in the year 1598. While Hideyoshi was on his deathbed, his son, Toyotomi Hideyori, was still only 5 years old. Due to this, Hideyoshi created the Council of Five Elders to ensure his heir would succeed him after his coming of age. After Hideyoshi's death, Yodo Dono founded a temple in memory of her father Azai Nagamasa and her mother Oichi. She also became a Buddhist nun. As a result of Hideyoshi's eradication of his own family before his passing, his clan found itself vulnerable. The ascension of power by Tokugawa Ieyasu began to raise concerns among the remaining council of elders, who were uncertain about his allegiance to the Toyotomi government and whether he could be counted on as a reliable supporter. With the Toyotomi clan losing influence, so did Yodo Dono. However, she still had significant status, being the mother of Hideyori. She would move to Osaka Castle with her son, and plotted the restoration of the clan. The conflict and tension between members of the council elders became serious and could not be managed by anyone, as there was no definitive regent. Ishida Mitsunari, Toyotomi Hideyoshi's old loyal administrator, assembled with his comrade Otani Yoshisugu, renowned for his leadership despite his physical ailment, as well as Mashita Nagamori, his former diplomatic counterpart during the Korean War, and Onkokuji Eke, a monk and descendant of the Takeda clan. In this gathering, they cemented their alliance and extended an invitation to Mori Terremoto, the leader of the Mori clan, urging him to join their cause. Thus, they formed what history would remember as the Western Army. Many daimyo would also rally to Tokugawa Ieyasu, who remained unopposed in terms of seniority, rank, and reputation. His army would be remembered as the Eastern Army. In the year 1600, Mori Terremoto's forces, also known as the Western Army, entered Yodo Dono's residence at Osaka Castle. Yodo Dono remained vigilant in safeguarding the interests of the Toyotomi family. Despite being aware of the Western Army's maneuvers, she chose not to actively engage in them. Tokugawa Ieyasu would decisively defeat Ishida Mitsunari at the Battle of Sekigahara and executed him and all his surviving allies. After the battle, Ieyasu dispatched a messenger to Osaka Castle to convey his belief that Yodo Dono and Hideyori were not affiliated with the Western Army. Yodo Dono responded with gratitude. After Mori Teramoto's departure from Osaka Castle, Ieyasu himself entered the premises. During their interaction, Yodo Dono graciously offered Ieyasu a sake cup, but instead insisted that he pass it to Hideyori instead. In a public declaration, Ieyasu proclaimed himself as Hideyori's surrogate father. Although Yodo Dono herself did not actively engage in the Battle of Sekigahara, it is documented that over 2,000 Toyotomi vassals participated in the conflict, leading to a deterioration in relations between the Tokugawa and Toyotomi factions. As a consequence of Sekigahara, Ieyasu allocated many Toyotomi territories as rewards, resulting in diminished control for the Toyotomi clan. Yodo Dono would soon confront Tokugawa Ieyasu, who started to construct a military government in Edo. At the same time, Ieyasu refused his requirement to show vassalage to the heir of Hideyoshi, Hideyori. Due to Ieyasu winning the Battle of Sekigahara and his repute as a warrior and tactician, he quickly took Hideyoshi's place as the most powerful daimyo in Japan. As his power and influence grew, Yodo Dono's depression would intensify. In the year 1601, she was reported to have suffered from chest pains, eating disorders, and headaches. Yodo Dono's situation became worse when Emperor Go-Yozei named Tokugawa Ieyasu as the shogun in the year 1604. Ieyasu at this point was 60 years old and had outlasted all the great men in his time, such as Oda Nobunaga and Toyotomi Hideyoshi to name a few. As shogun, he used his remaining years to create and solidify the Tokugawa shogunate, which also meant destroying any trace of ambition of any remaining powerful samurai clans. Although Ieyasu married his granddaughter, Princess Senhime, to Toyotomi Hideyori, there was still tension between the Tokugawa and Toyotomi families. Despite securing Osaka Castle and inheriting vast amounts of property and money from Hideyoshi, former retainers of Hideyori shifted their alliance to Ieyasu, weakening Hideyori's and Yodo Dono's position. On May the 8th, in the year 1605, Ieyasu requested Hideyori to demonstrate his loyalty to the Tokugawa clan by paying homage. Yodo Dono declined the invitation due to her territorial losses and loss of status. In the year 1611, when Hideyori was 17 years old, he finally left Osaka Castle to meet with Tokugawa Ieyasu. They met for 2 hours at Nijo Castle. Hideyori's personal guardian, Katagiri Katsumoto, had spread rumours that Hideyori was a useless boy and was nothing like his late father Hideyoshi. However, Ieyasu found the teen to be an impressive young man and was surprised by Hideyori's conduct and intellect. It seems Katsumoto had been spreading these rumours to dissuade potential aggression against the rising heir of the Toyotomi clan. The Tokugawa and Toyotomi clans had found themselves increasingly at odds, especially as the Toyotomi began assembling a coalition of ronin and adversaries of the shogunate in Osaka, declaring that Hideyori was the rightful ruler of Japan. Despite officially passing the title of shogun to his son, Tokugawa Hidetada, in the year 1605, Ieyasu retained considerable influence. The boiling point of the feud between the two families was the incident of the Hokoji Bell. The Toyotomi clan would rebuild Osaka Castle in the year 1614 and sponsored the construction of the Hokoji Temple in Kyoto. The temple renovations involved the creation of a magnificent bronze bell, which bore inscriptions which Ieyasu interpreted as "the Toyotomi will rise again." This inscription meant treachery towards the shogunate. Ieyasu subsequently ordered Hideyori to leave Osaka Castle, but those in the castle refused and summoned samurai to gather within the fortress. Katsumoto suggested sending Yodo Dono to Edo as a hostage in hopes of averting hostilities. However, she either outright refused, or if she did agree, was denied by her son Hideyori. With suspicions of Katsumoto's loyalty, Yodo Dono eventually banished him along with several other servants, accusing them of treason. Upon their departure, they allied themselves with the Tokugawa clan, extinguishing any hope of reaching a resolution with the shogunate. This marked the commencement of the siege of Osaka. Ieyasu directed his forces to unleash controlled cannon fire on the fortress, demonstrating his superior military might. Over 3 consecutive days, his troops bombarded the fortress, realizing that the castle defenses were extremely strong, and with bribes of the Toyotomi captains not working, Ieyasu changed his strategy. Ieyasu ordered his men to intentionally bomb Yodo Dono's quarters, and when they had found the range, a cannon hit its target, killing 2 of her maids. Yodo Dono became terrified and opted to negotiate with Ieyasu. On January the 22nd, Ieyasu was given a solemn oath by Hideyori and Yodo Dono, in which Hideyori pledged not to rebel against Ieyasu or Hidetada. However, in April of the year 1615, Ieyasu received word that Toyotomi Hideyori was gathering even more troops, and his army began attacks on contingents of the shogun's forces. Ban Naoyuki, a samurai general of Hideyori, would engage with the forces of Asano Nagakira in the Battle of Kashi. Naoyuki was killed in action, and Nagakira, loyal to the shogunate, would devastate the Toyotomi forces, marking another loss for Hideyori. On the 2nd of June, the Battle of Domyoji took place. Hideyori's general, Goto Mosasugu, was shot by a stray bullet and then committed seppuku during the battle. Having lost a powerful commander, Sanada Nobushige, who commanded another contingent of Hideyori's army, retreated to Osaka Castle. Hideyori himself also retreated to Osaka Castle, but he arrived too late and was unable to make arrangements for the castle's defences in time. Ieyasu's forces would set the castle on fire, knowing her end had finally come and her family was doomed. Yodo Dono and her son Hideyori committed suicide in the flames of Osaka Castle, ending the Toyotomi legacy. There are no first-hand testimonies or documented records chronicling her final moments, and her remains were never discovered. This absence of concrete evidence has led to a plethora of legends surrounding Yodo Dono's fate following the collapse of the Toyotomi clan. Some tales propose that both Yodo Dono and Hideyori successfully evaded capture and survived. However, the specifics of their alleged escape remain subject to speculation. Yodo Dono had a tragic early life, with her father and mother both perishing due to the Warring States period of Japan. Her experiences in life no doubt moulded her into a political player, and with her immense beauty, secured a position as the concubine to the most powerful man in Japan. However, not everything lasts forever, and after Hideyoshi's death, his retainer Ieyasu would usurp his power, and the war for domination continued. Yodo Dono would eventually die, due to her unwavering nature and commitment to the Toyotomi legacy, and trying to restore the clan to its former glory. Her portrayal as an evil woman in popular culture was no doubt bred due to the Tokugawa forces winning and Yodo Dono's clan losing. However, she was most likely a product of the Sengoku period, and simply wanted her family to once again be the most powerful in all Japan. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe and share, and I'll see you all soon for another History Profile.